Let's start this today. We have two really important items that we want to start off with. So please pay careful attention. They're very important and very worth our time. So these are words women use. This is more for the guys to pay attention to, but just women may not be aware that they use these words. And so it's an awareness-raising thing for us all. First of all, the first word is fine.
Did you make up this list?
No.
Or did you take it out of some other source?
Let's go through this. Fine. This is the word women use to end an argument when they feel they're right and you need to shut up. Never use fine to describe how a woman looks. This will cause you to have one of those arguments. 5 minutes later. This is a half hour. It's the equivalent to the 5 minutes that your football game is going to last before you take out the trash. So it's an even trade.
Oh my God.
Nothing. This means something and you should be on your toes. Nothing is usually used to describe the feeling a woman has of wanting to turn you inside out, upside down, and backwards. Nothing usually signifies an argument that will last 5 minutes and end with fine. Go ahead, with raised eyebrows. This is a dare, one that will result in a woman getting upset over nothing and will end with the word fine. Go ahead, with normal eyebrows. This means I give up, or do what you want because I don't care. You'll get a raised eyebrow go ahead in just a few minutes, followed by nothing and fine. And she will talk to you in about 5 minutes when she cools off. Loud sigh. This is not actually a word, but is a nonverbal statement often misunderstood by men. A loud sigh means she thinks you're an idiot at that moment and wonders why she's wasting her time standing here and arguing with you over nothing. Soft sigh, again, not a word, but a nonverbal statement. Soft sigh means that she is content. Your best bet is to not move or breathe, and she will stay content. Oh. This word, followed by any statement, is trouble. For example, oh, let me get that, or oh, I talked to him about what you were doing last night. If she says, oh, before a statement, run. Do not walk to the nearest exit. She will tell you that she's fine when she's done tossing your clothes out the window, but do not expect her to talk to you for at least 2 days. Oh, as the lead to a sentence usually signifies that you're caught in a lie. Do not try to lie more to get out of it, or you'll get raised eyebrows, go ahead, followed by acts so unspeakable we can't bring ourselves to write about them. That's okay. This is one of the most dangerous statements that a woman can say to a man. That's okay means that she wants to think long and hard before paying you retributions for whatever it is that you have done. That's okay is often used with the word fine and used in conjunction with a raised eyebrow, go ahead. At some time in the near future when she has plotted and planned, you're going to be in some mighty big trouble. Go ahead. At some point in the future, you're going to be in some mighty big trouble. Please do. This is not a statement, it is an offer. A woman is giving you the chance to come up with whatever excuse or reason you have for doing whatever it is that you have done. You have a fair chance with the truth, so be careful and you shouldn't get a that's okay. Thanks. A woman is thanking you. Do not faint, just say you're welcome. Thanks a lot. This is much different than thanks. A woman will say thanks a lot when she is really ticked off at you. It signifies that you've offended her in some callous way and will be followed by the loud sigh. Be careful not to ask what is wrong after the loud sigh, as she will only tell you nothing. Hope this clears up any misunderstandings. Now, let's see. Let me get the other one. Where did it go? Okay. I've got another stack of papers that I know is here. Right there. Right there. Shoot. Oh. Can't happen.
Let me guess, you're looking for the man one, and the man one's so small you can't find it.
Yeah, they did six and the nod. That's it. This usually means whatever.
Anything with the tone.
Here's the man one.
Oh.
It actually has a few on this one. This was given to me, by the way, by a lady. A female gave this to me.
Can we get another one of these? This one's...
Okay, let's go through this, because this is equally as important. Okay, the man rules. At least the guy has taken the time to write this all down. Finally, we have the guy's side of the story. We always hear the rules from the female side. Now, here are the rules from the male side. These are our rules. Please note, they are all numbered 1 on purpose.
It's got to feel really good.
1. These make me laugh. Men are not mind readers. 1. Learn to work the toilet seat. You're a big girl. If it's up, put it down. We need it up, you need it down. You don't hear us complaining about you leaving it down.
Oh, that is so going to get you a big sigh.
Or a go ahead. Go ahead. 1. Sunday sports. It's like the full moon or the changing of the tides. Let it be. 1. Shopping is not a sport. And no, we're never going to think of it that way. 1. Crying is blackmail. 1. Ask for what you want. Let us be clear on this one. Subtle hints do not work. Strong hints do not work. Obvious hints do not work. Just say it. 1. Yes and no are perfectly acceptable answers to almost every question. 1. Come to us with a problem only if you want help solving it. That's what we do. Sympathy is what your girlfriends are for. 1. 1. Anything we said 6 months ago is inadmissible in an argument. In fact, in fact, all comments become null and void after 7 days. 1. If you think you're fat, you probably are. Don't ask us. 1. If something we said can be interpreted 2 ways and one of the ways makes you sad or angry, we meant the other one. 1, you can either ask us to do something or you can tell us how you want it done, not both. If you already know best how to do it, just do it yourself. 1, whenever possible, please say whatever you have to say during commercials. 1, Christopher Columbus did not need directions, neither do we.
I have a quick question. So did men invent DVR so there's no commercials?
Probably. The fast forward 30-second button. Greatest thing ever invented.
Oh my gosh.
1. All men see in only 16 colors, like Windows default settings. Peach, for example, is a fruit, not a color. Pumpkin's also a fruit. We have no idea what mauve is. 1. If it itches, it will be scratched. We do that. 1. If we ask what is wrong and you say nothing, we will act like nothing's wrong. We know you're lying. It's just not worth the hassle. It's cracked me up every time I read it, and I've read these 100 times. If you ask a question you don't want an answer to it, expect an answer you don't want to hear. When we have to go somewhere, absolutely anything you wear is fine, really. 1. Don't ask us what we're thinking about unless you're prepared to discuss such topics as baseball or golf. 1. You have enough clothes. 1. You have too many shoes. 1. I'm in shape. Round is a shape. 1. Thank you for reading this. Yes, I know I have to sleep on the couch tonight. But did you know Men really don't mind that. It's like camping. Isn't that great? All right. That cracks me up every single time. So, get out the packet that we were playing with. Joking aside. Did anyone not get that? Yesterday, the Coveys seek first to understand. Does anyone else need one? So we're going to go through this and learn this skill that for many of you will be brand new. This is one of those never taught to me before skills that once you have a feel for this, everything in your relationships have the potential for changing for the better. If we go through this, we started off last time, we talked about what doesn't work. We called it autobiographical listening. Now, let me clarify, and he'll mention this in here a little bit, but let me clarify that if you go to the second page, this type of listening that we're talking about is not designed for situations when you're just talking, about sports or, what you watched on TV last night, or, this is designed for when there is an emotion, there's an energy in there that by talking about it and being understood, that energy is allowed to dissipate. It's allowed to come out. It's like peeling the layers of an onion. Is a really nice, to get to the real, you'll notice at the beginning of at the very top of the first page it says, you're never upset for the reasons you think. That came from Joe Jampolsky's book called Love is Letting Go of Fear. What does that mean? You're never upset for the reasons you think. Diana?
A deeper meaning beyond what broke the straw.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What broke the straw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think an example is like my mom and I a couple days ago, I said something earlier in the morning. I was tired. I didn't even think about it. And she was mad at me all day, so she was getting mad at me for taking my shoes off the wrong way, when really she was mad about the one thing I said.
Perfect example. So, and most people are like that. When you're in a traffic jam and somebody's, or you're in a car and somebody's really getting upset at you, it's really the rest of their day that's been building up to that moment. They're not really mad at you as a person, but the tension and the pressure of the day has resulted in, man, I just can't take this. Okay? Now the idea behind empathic listening, listening with empathy, is when we listen this way, we are able to unpeel the onion to get to the deeper part. And this is not, going back to this guy part, this is not especially what guys are comfortable doing. We are not, and many women as well, are not really like, man, I got to get to the deeper issue when we're talking here. Let's just solve this. Or, yeah, that's interesting. Let me tell you about my problem. Autobiographical listening, okay? So, this kind of listening is when somebody is talking in a way where there's emotion in there, where there's energy in there, okay? So, on the second page, we mentioned at the end yesterday, on the top of the right-hand column, empathic listening is particularly important in under three conditions: when the interaction has a strong emotional component, when we're not sure that we understand, and when we're not sure the other person feels confident that we understand. Okay. All three of those, when you do empathic listening, it affirms the person. It lets the person know that you are listening. Empathic listening means you're listening for the purpose of understanding how he or she feels. That's the purpose of it. Letting them know that you understand how he or she feels. Because once they get that, they have total trust in you, the rapport is good, they sense that they can continue to get to the real problem, the real issue, the real tension. And once you've allowed that to happen, then, whew, man, that was great, thanks for talking. I feel so much better kind of feeling takes place. Does that make sense? So here's the process, this is how we do it. He says that there, the second to last paragraph, our goal in reflecting should be to express the other person's point of view better than they can. Empathic listening allows the other person to explore his or her feelings, it should said, at his own pace and direction. Okay, so here's how we do this. And I want you to take careful notes on this because you're going to get to do an assignment where you will get to practice this. And doing it correctly will make it so that it works for you. So there's kind of a process to learning how to do this. So over here on this page 30, it says listening with the eyes for feeling. Okay, we know that what percentage of communication is nonverbal, do they say? Yeah, up in the 90s. 90% of our communication is nonverbal. As I'm standing up here, I may be saying things, but you're reading all kinds of other things about what's being communicated. A lot of that is subconscious, but you're still reading it. As you look around and you see somebody else, you see how they're sitting, how they're kind of attired. All these different things are telling you information that they're wanting you to know. We're always communicating. 10% is verbal. So a lot of this, and we're not going to get into much more of the body language kinds of stuff, but just know that when you are with somebody, the communication that you hear in words is a small portion of it. Okay? So you have to put your heart into it. You have to put your senses into it of what is it that you're feeling right now. Okay? So we do this in pretty much 4 steps or 4 stages. And we're going to practice this together. Down here at the bottom, the first, and each of these, the 4th step is where we want to get, but each of these gets to the 4th step. And so the first step, the first stage is we mimic the content of the communication. So in this stage, we simply repeat what is said, words only, not feelings. Okay, so let's try this together. So let's say that I have a problem. Let's say that, let's see, what would be a good problem? Okay, here's one. This happened yesterday and the day before. And I want somebody to act as if you're listening. So all of you are going to be acting as if you're listening, but I want you to reply in using this first stage type of response. Okay, so somebody can just raise their hand after I say what I'm going to say. So the problem I have right now is my daughter's on a basketball team who has a coach who's just an idiot. She thinks that verbally abusing their players is useful and effective, and it's really, she's just stressed out and this is her way to unload on people. Okay, so I've said that. Somebody in this first stage, if you were listening to me, what could you say that would be this first, Erica?
So you have a daughter who has a coach who verbally abuses
the team,
Yeah.
and it makes your daughter stressed.
Okay, did I say that?
No.
Okay, so I didn't say that it makes my daughter stressed part,
What was the end?
but
She's
The
coach
coach is stressed.
the coach is
and
stressed.
The coach is stressed. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because of her stress. Okay, buddy?
It seems like what you're saying is that the coach is really stressed out and they're taking it on with your daughter and the whole team.
Okay, so you're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
You're going to, both of you are kind of, maybe I should have said it a little shorter, but the essence, you guys are kind of advancing just a little bit. This stage, you're just mimicking. It's like a parrot almost. And it could be annoying, you know, if you say the exact thing. But there's a skill to this.
Is it word for word, or could you
Pretty
guys,
close.
like, say your daughter plays on a basketball team, the coach verbally abuses the players, and she's taking stress out on the team?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yes.
Is that summarizing?
Yeah.
But is that kind of word for word?
It's pretty close. I mean,
So what I hear is that you believe the coach is an idiot,
Yeah, I forgot that.
and she's verbally abusing the team, and your daughter in particular. She feels that this is going to motivate them. You
Good.
see it as destructive, and that the coach has a lot of stress.
Now, pay attention to what just happened there. As Diana said that, what do I, as the speaker, feel about how she's listening? The way she said that, how do I, as the one with the problem, feel about this communication, Taylor?
You feel like she is completely listening to you because
Yep.
you got what you were saying.
Yep. And that's the essence of this when we're only at the first stage. When you said that way, I went, yeah, you got exactly what I said. That is what pulls you into people. It develops that, it creates that rapport. Just that. Okay, so the second stage, we rephrase the content, which is what Erica and Buddy did. You did a better job. You two are more of, let's mimic what I said. You two kind of rephrased the content, and then Buddy, you went on to the next. You're skilled at this because you've done the coaching, the practice in there where we really expand on this idea. But in this phrase, or in this stage, we rephrase the content. So now we put the other person's meaning into our words. This takes more thought than stage one, but it also creates more awareness. So if you think about can you remember what you said?
Yeah. It seems like you have a really stressed out coach that's taking it out on your kids.
Yeah. And he didn't say it in a long, like Diana kind of expanded on. She said almost everything. He said a shorter version. Both ways, I get, yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That's exactly what I'm feeling. Or that's exactly what I said. We haven't focused on feeling yet. But, yeah, that's what I said. And so let me tell you some more. And which is what happens when you start doing this, is the person will go, well, yeah, there's more to this story, and the layers start peeling off. Yeah, it's really just, this lady, she's already been kicked off she's a coach, and she's been kicked off one high school team because she verbally abused people. I don't know why this coach, the head coach, pulled her in. I guess they think she knows basketball, sort of, but she's just meaner than heck to these students, these kids, who, for them, basketball's a game. They're not on scholarship. They're not getting paid to play, and yet she's just unloading, swearing at them, and for a game that you're supposed to love. Okay, so somebody besides you four rephrase, and I know that was a long one, but rephrase in about the length that Buddy did what I just said. Go ahead.
Basically, you said, like, I don't know how she got this job because I don't think she does it very well.
You don't?
No, just saying that's what you're telling me. That you're telling me that you don't understand.
Right, okay.
Like, I don't, like, what I'm saying is, like, what you say. Like, I don't see how she got this job, and I don't see how she can ruin the game for all these kids, but this is the main intent. And I think really you're feeling, this is my daughter, and she's kind of ruining it for me.
Good, yeah. Now, can you sense, as you said that, can you sense that she's understanding what I'm trying to say? Anyone else want to have a stab at that? Just rephrase the content. Don't worry so much about how I'm feeling about it just yet. That's next. Somebody else want to have a go? Go for it.
Well, I know what you're talking about. So, and I know she's been kicked off from 2 different.
Has it been 2?
Yeah,
Man, I got to get her kicked off this team.
I don't know why he thought of it, but 'cause I know that she's had problems with a bunch of other schools, but I just know that she's not a very good coach.
Okay, now, what's she done? You weren't here on Monday.
Autobiographical.
And so this doesn't make any sense to you, probably, what I'm saying, but you've switched back to your point of view. There's nothing wrong with that, but what happens when she switches to autobiographical?
Oh, I have a question. Sorry.
Okay, what happens when she switches to autobiographical listening?
It turns into, she's talking about herself.
Yeah, it's talking about, we're focusing on her. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not helping me to unload, you know, get those layers out of the way. She's been 2 schools?
I was a junior high first, and then
Man. Okay, I got more to this story. So anyway.
I have a question with that because she's still staying on subject. She's not necessarily comparing a different experience to your experience like we were on Monday. You're still talking about the same coach, and she's agreeing with you that she...
And agreeing is autobiographical.
It's still autobiographical. Maybe I can't say it this way.
Autobiographical.
But so even though she's agreeing with you feeling the same way you're feeling, it's still the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a bad thing, but it's not empathic listening that leads to more of unloading.
So, again, this would be autobiographical as well, saying I could understand that feeling.
Totally autobiographical.
Okay.
You have no idea how I feel. Nobody can possibly know how somebody else feels. And that's not what the...
that's going to give comfort,
Yeah.
but it doesn't. And I know I do that a lot, and I happened this morning with my son.
It's
pissed him off.
It's well-meaning. It's well-meaning. The intention is right, but the method is not. The method is, let's explore more what you're going through, not, oh yeah, I've been through that before, kind of thing.
Also, sometimes with the empathic listening, like you said, it helps unload, whereas autobiographical can sometimes feed the emotions and make them more aggressive.
Exactly. Expands the problem.
That's pretty much what I was going to say. When you're doing the empathic, you're trying to unload weight to another person to help lighten your load. When you're doing autobiographical, you're adding weight.
Yes.
By, here, have some more. Yes, I agree. Here, this is exactly what it is. So you're adding that energy to that person.
Exactly. Exactly.
not only that, but I feel like in those situations, I get frustrated because I'm like, you don't understand my situation.
Right.
I've gone through something, but it's not my situation. It's not now. You don't have all the same situational factors, so you don't know what I'm going through.
Right.
So that just becomes more frustrating, I think.
And it makes it more the problem instead of let's dissipate this, Bobby.
Well, I was having a conversation the other day with my mom and just venting to her, telling her some things, and she listened, but then she didn't like change it into her, but she compared me to somebody else, and I just shut off. I was like,
It turns it up, doesn't it?
I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
Yeah. And there's an example of the consequence of autobiographical listening. I don't want to talk to you anymore. When you listen empathically, the response is, well, I sure would like to tell you some more. Because they get that you care. They get that you're interested. They're affirming what you're saying. Okay? So the third level, the third stage, is we reflect feeling. Okay? So here we look more deeply and begin to capture feelings. Okay? So we're bringing these things together. This is like the third puzzle piece, or the third step. The fourth is puts it all together. So when so I will say, so yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over there today. I'm going to watch practice. I was thinking I would videotape it. I'm going to, because maybe she's unaware that she's out of control. But I'm going to go over and watch practice today. I've worked with these girls for 10 years. And they're one of the best teams in the state. They're very good. They might even beat Fremont. They're lucky. But I have to stop this right now. I can't let this season go on and have this lady ruin their season. Okay?
Sorry.
Oh, thank you for your feelings about how I should be.
I'm sorry, I've seen it. I get kind of passionate about it because I've seen it ruin.
And what's she doing?
Next year. I know, I'm being
Autobiographical.
I know.
It's okay, I'm not judging you. That's just an observation.
They don't want to play.
Exactly.
It's not fun.
So, that's the normal go-to, is, God, no kidding, I've been in soccer, and I had a coach, and it was horrible. What happens, Bobby? Zip. You shut up. So yeah, reflect feeling.
Okay, so you're really frustrated because...
Okay, don't add more to it. This part is just, you're really frustrated. Mm-hmm. You're sensing, this stage 3 is, you're just trying to sense the feeling I've got. That's it. You're wanting to jump ahead to 4. It's okay. It's our natural thing to want to...
What if you're feeling more than what you sense that?
Yeah, it's okay. What?
Can I elaborate?
Yeah.
Like you're feeling more
Yeah, sure. And when you do that, so go try it. Would you shut that door, please, Taylor?
I don't have to do it without putting action in it.
So just reflect the feelings. You heard what I said. You saw my body language. You saw my face probably got red.
You're frustrated and angry and feeling a little helpless.
Okay, helpless maybe. I'm not sure how I portrayed that, but you sensed that, huh? That came across to you.
Yeah.
And you may be wrong. That's not the important thing. When you reflect with, man, that really ticks you off, doesn't it? Yeah, and let me tell you some more. That's how it works.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Could this perhaps ruin the situation if I reflected feelings wrong? Like say I was like, oh yeah, you're really happy about it. Wouldn't that like make me angry?
Well, you kind of want to try to be as accurate as possible.
Yeah, like, couldn't it like, so it could ruin it if you get the feelings wrong.
If you're not close.
Unless you do it with sarcasm.
Yeah, exactly. Because nobody tries to get it wrong.
No.
If you care about the person, you're...
You're just really bad at it though. Oh, you think coach is funny.
I don't think humans can be bad at this.
People who make friends.
That's a jump I don't think that we would make very often. Erica.
Well, to that state or like that comment, I think it can actually be a very useful thing, even if we understood the feelings wrong, because then we can take, hopefully the person who's unraveling their feelings can clarify.
Yes.
Because the whole purpose of this is to try to understand. So it's okay if we're wrong, because we're trying to understand, not read their mind and know
Right.
exactly what they're thinking. So if we say, oh, so you really are pissed off. Well, no, I'm not pissed off. I'm just really hurt. Whatever that might be.
Good.
So, oh, okay, so you're hurt.
Right.
So even though
Tell me
I
more.
misassessed probably the fact that you were feeling helpless, that wouldn't mean.
Not at all. Nor would it with anyone. No, not really. I think I'm more just pissed off. Or aghast that the coach would hire this lady after 2 or 3 blowing it before. That's more ammo for me today.
You know, I didn't realize how much you could add. I always thought that was showing empathy, but when you say that, that actually could add fuel to the fire and not help at all. And I'm notorious for that. Oh, I understand.
We all are.
Oh, yeah, you know, that's horrible. I didn't realize I had done that.
Stay away from
I was just wondering, because I felt like when people are telling me stories like this, I kind of ask a lot of questions along the way.
Yeah, and
is that a bad thing, or?
Questions we have to be careful with. I used to say, you try to avoid questions in the coaching. There are appropriate questions when you're seeking to find out more about how they're feeling and what the content is. But if you're just probing like, oh man, yeah, what is she saying? You know, those kind of questions, you're going to expand the energy of it. But if you feel like doing something about it, or you feel like you should be, those kind of questions are okay. So there's a difference, there's a fine line between probing questions to go back to autobiographical, or questions to help seek your understanding of how they're feeling.
Okay, I have a question. I'm getting ahead, but like, where's the line with like listening? Like, I have an example. Like when my niece was diagnosed with leukemia and my husband got sick at the same time. Like, people were talking to me about her being like they being sick with leukemia, and they would talk to me, and I'd listen to them, you know. And then when I went to talk to somebody about my feelings with my husband, they said, well, at least he's not as sick as Faye. And so every time I tried talking to somebody, it was like I was constantly listening, but I felt like nobody wanted to listen to me. So where's that line with when you want to listen, but you also want to talk?
When it's your turn to unload.
Yeah.
See,
you can't just listen through your whole life, you know. You need to share your feelings too. So where's that line where we, you know, where we have our chance to talk? And
Bobby, what do you think? I'm Buddy. Sorry, Buddy. Yeah, I know that. Buddy, Bobby.
Like, I have 3 people that I can only go to in life that will listen. He's one of them. And there's 2 other people. Because everybody else is like that. When you say something and you really want to have that empathy where you can unload, and you need that unload, you have to find someone that's I guess, willing or good enough to actually listen to you instead of like, oh, here, let's add fuel to the fire.
Or teach them. And teach. If you don't have one of those, then teach that person. Here's how I want to be listened to. I mean, what person wouldn't, if they wanted a great relationship and they have a one-on-one relationship with somebody else or in their family, who wouldn't want to teach this to that person? Look, when I'm in this state, here's how I want you to listen to me so that it will work. Bobby?
So just
Buddy?
here.
Bobby?
I'm Bobby. What's a guy name? So if you're just super sick of always listening to someone, would using that autobiographical be a good way to stop the conversation?
Oh, shoot. I think we're missing.
Yeah, let's focus on what to do, because we're running out of time and I want to get you going. What did you think?
Well, it's just kind of, I guess, a disclaimer to what you had just said, and what Bob, and I guess in reply to what Bobby said, I had a friend who asked me, well, Erica, how is it that, like, you always seem to be interested in people and when you're talking to them or whatnot? And we had talked about this. I talked about the crucial conversations with her and how those skills were helpful, but then she kind of just came to her conclusion. She's like, oh, I guess you just have to care. And I think...
Well, that's half right.
And I think that's such a key. You can learn the tools and the skills, or you can teach the tools and the skills, but if you really don't care to understand somebody, then it's kind of done in vain, or it's taught in vain as well. So I think that's really such an important key to empathy. You
Absolutely.
care.
And he mentions that later on in this packet where he says, the attitude, the most important of the skills is the win-win attitude that backs it up. He mentions in that page 30, the end there, where we are doing this because we care, because we want to. It's not a toy to try to play with. It's an attitude that you carry. So the fourth stage is you reflect both the emotion and the content. So it's really pissing you off that she's saying she's acting this way toward the athletes. Yes. And let me tell you some more. And little by little, and that onion core is right there. I mean, there's nothing deeper than that for me. You know, I'm pretty sure that's the end. But if I've been able to unload it, then remember it dies on the vine instead of it continues growing inside.
I just have a question. When you're doing these steps or stages, do you do all four?
So no,
or
when
sometimes do you pick one?
yeah. So like if you were talking to me and you said, and you said you were saying what I said to you, then I might say, you're upset about that. You know, you might just say, mm-hmm, but you might say, you didn't like it when she did that, or you're really angry, or you're really confused when you notice that happen. It has to be natural, not parrot-like. Let me think. You just said the coach verbally abuses them, so you don't try and get it right. You try to be heartfelt with, and you're only looking for two things. You're looking for what are you feeling, what's going on. And you reflect those in the ways that seem natural to you as you're communicating with that person. Okay? Let me give you this assignment really fast. I know we're running out of time with this, but I want you to try this. Yeah. Okay, let me explain this to you. And if you are interested in this sort of thing, if this kind of idea is fascinating to you, I strongly urge you, if you have a sense or a passion for this sort of thing, to look at being a wellness coach. I'll talk about this a little more later, but wellness coaching is the heart of wellness coaching, as Jason, Buddy, Susan are doing it right now. They're in this wellness coaching class that we teach, and it's really exciting to see how we're helping other people with health behaviors. And it's a profession. Wellness coaching is a profession that is kind of in the health promotion area, human performance area. So here's your assignment. Pay attention, and you can talk to me later if you want. Your assignment is to spend 30 to 45 minutes. And I know that seems like, man, that's a long time. 30 to 45 minutes listening empathically to someone who is talking with you. You'll listen to them according to how we practice this method of listening in class, empathically. Talk with someone who's working with some issue that includes some emotional energy. You will not tell them, this is important, you will not tell them that you are listening to them as an assignment. Did you get that? Oh, I have to listen to somebody. Will you tell me something? You don't, that's not going to enter into the paragraphs. You'll simply focus all of your listening energy on listening for the single purpose of understanding. After you've finished, respond to the following questions. Describe the situation, who is involved, was the main topic of the conversation. Describe how you notice yourself vacillating between listening empathically and autobiographically, because you will. It's practice. Describe how the person you were talking with responded to you when you listened empathically, and describe how easy or difficult you found it was to listen empathically for that long. So type it up, and you'll hand this in on Monday. We will not be meeting on Friday, as we know. Okay? Any questions about this? Now, I guarantee right now you're probably thinking, well, who am I going to talk to? The opportunity will arise. I guarantee it. That is our intention, so it will happen. The opportunity will arise, and you will go, oh, this is the serendipitous event that applies to this assignment, and then focus on what they're thinking or they're feeling and the content, and reflect that. You will.